Call Gary Cooper, 858-376-1299. Okay, here to brag, I'm sure, about his Syracuse Orange. I think they used to be the Orange Men, I think. Everybody, Michael Kirshner, the co-founder of Utah Sports, who last week warned us that his Syracuse team was about to take down our San Diego State Aztecs, and they did indeed. Hi, Michael.
Yeah, that was a fun night for me, boys. I enjoyed that very much. No, they've been impressive. They've been a lot of fun to watch. I'll tell you, this was a team that I knew had great potential. They had 5 great players, Syracuse did, and they just didn't gel until very late in the season. And this is a Jim Boeheim special. You sneak into the tournament and then you surprise the world.
Here's what I was super jealous about that night. Obviously, the victory is what I was jealous of. But when you have a shooter who's on fire like that, never had that here in the tournament. And I think last year was probably our chance to get it with Malachi. Never got to see it. This year, Browner said it perfectly on Monday. He said, just because you can make threes doesn't mean you're a good shooter. And I don't think we have necessarily really good shooters on the team. But watching Buddy Boeheim those first 2 rounds, that's ridiculous, and very jealous of that performance.
I mean, Buddy went 7 for 10 against San Diego, and then I think he went San Diego State, and then I think he went 6 for 13 against West Virginia. I mean, the guy's just unconscious, and he is a great natural shooter. And the thing that's really impressed me about him recently is obviously he's always, if you leave him open, he's going to drain it, but he's now has the ability to either roll off screens and hit fairly contested shots, and now he's creating his own shots, which makes him really, really dangerous. And I hate to even look that far ahead, but you're starting to hear a little bit of chatter about a potential hard look at the NBA.
Ooh, look, what he did the first 2 rounds was great. I think the test for him now will be if he can now crush opponents they should beat. Because people were looking at it as more of an even game, but San Diego State coming into the game had good defense. West Virginia, because of Bobby Huggins, is a dogfight regardless of what you do. They're going to play defense. And he smoked both of them. Mm-hmm. So now against this next opponent, who he's coming in with a hot hand, can he maintain that hot hand against what people would say are lesser opponents? I think that's really going to start putting a Steph Curry energy to what he's doing, because the way he's making shots, you're not going to be able to guard that.
Yeah, but you just know one thing. I think a lot of people will look at the brackets right now the same way they looked at Syracuse, San Diego State, and most people in America went Syracuse, and then they saw Syracuse, West Virginia, and they may have been a little, gun shy on that because West Virginia was a 3, but they're taking on Houston, who's the 2 seed. So it still qualifies if Syracuse wins. It still qualifies as a really big upset.
Well, they're right now 6-point dogs. So Vegas is not giving them the respect. I mean, look, I don't know anything about Houston. You talk about East Coast bias. I'll tell you why I have East Coast bias, because I never saw a Pac-12 game all year because I can't.
We didn't either. Don't worry.
I can't stay up that late. Right?
I watched San Diego State beat UCLA. That's the only game I watched from the Pac-12.
Right. So games that happen on the West Coast, we just don't see those guys play that often. And Houston, I haven't seen Houston play. I've been reading up about them. They seem, look, they beat Wichita State. They've beaten some good teams. Vegas likes them as a 6-point favorite. Vegas usually knows more than the average Joe, which I consider myself to be. But I think the way this team, the Syracuse team, is playing right now, I think they're a very live underdog.
So Buddy Boeheim gives me when you talk about the NBA, he gives me a big Jimmer Fredette vibe. And the reason I say that is Jimmer Fredette was the most ridiculous scorer I've ever seen in college basketball in person. Buddy Boeheim, I don't think is at that level, but it's how many NBA teams are going to let Buddy Boeheim shoot the ball 15 to 20 times a game?
Yeah, no, I would have never thought. I think it was Vitale, who you always have to take a little bit with a grain of salt, said this guy's a surefire NBA player. And look, I saw McNamara. McNamara didn't even get. McNamara, who was the original Buddy Boeheim, didn't even get a look. I think he
go back further. Go back further. Not Syracuse, but think about a Bobby Hurley. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
That car crash really, really hurt his career. So I would say that car crash really did more damage to him than his actual skill set, because he was a decent point guard. but that car crash really derailed him. You know what? Buddy Boeheim reminds me a lot of Mike Dunleavy Jr. at the next level. He's not going to be super athletic. Defensively, he'll be in the right spot. He's still going to score it on, and he can make shots for you. He will never be a dominant shooter at the next level, but he will be able to make shots. He's a great player on a championship team, like a 7th or 8th guy.
Yeah, you know what's scary, too, about the Syracuse team is that, coming into the tournament, I would not have said Buddy's our best player. Quincy Guerrier, I would have said, is our best player. Alan Griffin's had a really good season. He's been, and neither one of those guys have done much in this tournament, but trust me, against Houston on Saturday night, either one of those two guys can go off. And I think I mentioned on the show last week, Malik Dolezaj, the kid from Sylvania. I mean, that guy is the heart and soul of this team. I mean, he is one of the best big man passers. He takes charges. If he can stay out of foul trouble, and all five Syracuse starters can stay in the game, not have to go to their bench, even though their bench is greatly improved from earlier this season. This is a very, very dangerous team because, you've got Guerrier, Griffin, both, really good 3-4 type players. And then Joe Girard III, who's our point guard, who, believe it or not, has the most points in New York State high school history, who's just really had a terrible season, but started to come on a little bit in the San Diego State game and played very well in the West Virginia game. You really just need two of those guys to step up, and really you're not going to need to get 26, 27, 28 points at a Buddy Boeheim every night.
All right, we're talking to Michael Kirshner. He is the co-founder of Utah Sports, UDDA, Utah Man. Now, listen, we have been telling everybody to download this Utah app and play in these betting games. Now, it doesn't require real money. You're not going to lose any real money. It's all what are called Utah bucks. They're like fictitious dollars. I guess you can buy more on the app, but really they give them to you and you can spin the wheel every day you go and you can pick them up that way. You can refer friends. You can get Utah bucks. So lots of ways to acquire Utah bucks. And then you can go ahead and start making these wagers. Now, this week is the NCAA tournament is very interesting for people who, at least for those of us on the West Coast, who didn't really follow college basketball this year other than San Diego State. What the Pac-12 has done, Michael, is quite amazing. At one point, they were 9-0 in this tournament. And of the Sweet 16 teams, there are 4 that are from the Pac-12. And throw in Gonzaga as well. I mean, West Coast, very, very well represented here. Any of these games that you like a lot at all? Because Syracuse, Houston's an 11-2. How about UCLA, Alabama is an 11-2?
Oh, that's for me. Sorry. I think there are a lot of really interesting games, right? Because you have, first of all, the Loyola Chicago Oregon State game is a really interesting game. You got 2 very high seeds, right? Everybody thought Loyola was kind of a fluke when they went to the Final Four a couple of years ago, but who knows? I mean, there's no reason to think they won't be able to do it again. Oral Roberts, I don't think they're going to match up well against Arkansas. I think Oral Roberts' Cinderella season is going to come to an end. But you're right, there are a lot of compelling games. I think Gonzaga has proven to be the best team in the country. Kind of wrote them off again because I didn't see them and I wasn't convinced that they played real good competition. But man, have they looked good. And to me, the most surprising thing about the tournament so far has been, listen, the ACC didn't have a good tournament, but really the Big Ten. I thought, 4, even 5 of the top 10 teams in the country were going to come out of the Big Ten, and man, did they disappoint. So,
frauds.
Yeah, total frauds. And that's what made this season really interesting because you didn't play a lot of out-of-conference games. So really what happened in the Big Ten is you had a lot of what turned out to be slightly above average teams just going at each other all season. Michigan, I think, is still very dangerous. I've seen Florida State play a lot. I think that's going to be a great game. But this has been a really interesting. I mean, there have been more upsets in this tournament than I think in any tournament in history, just based on seeding. So it's been fascinating.
Do you think that we're overthinking it with certain teams? So there's 3 1 seeds left, right? I know Browner picked Illinois and a bunch of people picked Illinois, but Gonzaga is just crushed every single team they've played this year. Are we simply overthinking it because it's the bracket and it's March Madness, or are they simply the best team in the tournament?
I mean, the best thing about this tournament is you have to be the best team at the time to get through, right? Because you essentially have to win 5 games in a row against all good competition. Generally, the winner of the tournament is the best team at that time. So we'll find out. Again, like you got to trust. I always tell people, trust Vegas. Usually they set good lines. Clearly, there have been a lot of upsets this tournament, so that may not really be the case this year. But Vegas loves Gonzaga, and there's no reason not to trust Vegas on this one. I mean, they've clearly looked to be the best team of the tournament.
I think the problem with this tournament is that it was poorly seeded. Because I think the committee, like us, we didn't get to see a lot of games. We didn't know who was playing who. We didn't know if this team was playing. We didn't know if this team dropped out. This guy got sick. So I think they were just kind of plugging things in. That's why La Jolla Chicago was so poorly placed in the tournament. And
Roberts.
So now we're getting these results. Because I think you are kind of correct about the Big Ten, but also not really, because the Big Ten had great players in it. Illinois got beat by a better team because their coach was, game planning and then executing the game plan, while the Illinois coach was like, hey, you guys should beat them. They're Loyola Chicago. We're Illinois. And that's what the game looked like. So if you watched a couple of these games, you could see some guys just got out coached. They had a bad day. So this tournament has a lot of upsets, but I was prepared for this.
Sister Jean effect. You're not giving any credit to the Sister Jean effect, dude.
Yeah,
Zero credit. Zero. She ain't scored a basket, ain't got a rebound. Stop it with the Sister Jean bogusness.
John, we read the prayer.
Sister Jean,
she had a game plan in the prayer. She told the angels what to do in the prayer.
Sister Jean is for selling socks and bobbleheads. She ain't for no basketball, okay? Stop it. She's a nice little cute old lady to put on TV because it's a great story during a timeout when you coming or going. They ain't got no basketball. Sexist. Their coach outcoached the Illinois coach. It was embarrassing. They ran the same play 10 times in a row.
You know what you sound like when it comes to Sister Jean?
Come on, Mirror. What?
I hate her.
Come on, man.
I'm not messing with Sister Jean. I'll tell you that. I'm a Jewish kid from New York City, but I'm not messing with Sister Jean. Like, God bless her.
But the man from the south side of Chicago, he'll mess with Sister Jean. He don't care.
Sister Jean Sister Jean, I ain't scared of Sister Jean. I didn't had people hit my hands with rulers before.
All right. Michael Kirshner from Utah Sports. He's their co-founder. Michael, USC Oregon, a 6 versus a 7. What's the line here? All of a sudden, USC more so has caught a lot of fire, I feel like. And they got these Mobley brothers that are, and the one who's the young one is like the real superstar. They say that guy might be the number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft. I don't know if that's accurate or not.
I've loved watching that team. But let's play a quick game. Why don't you guess the line? Guess the line in that game.
I'd say USC is a 3-point favorite.
Anybody else want to take a guess?
I'm not good with lines.
Me neither.
It's a good guess. They're 2-point favorites. So, look, this is a 6 seed going against a 7 seed. Should be a good game. But yeah, those brothers, man, they have been fun to watch.
You realize their father is on the coaching staff?
Oh, don't you do that. You do that. That's nothing wrong with that at all.
I didn't say there was anything wrong with it. I said that. Did you know that?
I can't wait till LeVar Ball is coaching the Hornets.
Yeah. Did you not? I mean, I didn't know that. I didn't know that about the Mobley brothers. I had to read up on them. And they're like, yeah, his dad's on the coaching staff. I'm like, oh, how interesting.
Buddy Boeheim's dad's on the Syracuse coaching staff?
I did not know that. I had no idea.
It was frowned upon how the Mobleys got to USC.
Oh, it is?
I thought that's what you were getting at. So I apologize.
I don't even know the history.
Yeah, it was frowned upon that these 2 highly recruits and this one kid is like amazing, and now they chose USC out of nowhere, and people found that to be strange.
Like the Full House lady?
Yes. No, they didn't pay to get in, but they got their father to give them the coaching staff.
Yeah.
Right. And so then therefore
it was reverse. Yes. Instead of the parent giving money, the university gave the parent a job.
Right. And that was frowned upon, and people saying, oh, there's no way those kids would have went there if it wasn't. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're going to go where your dad's the coach. Duh.
Martin. Hey, let me pitch a couple of contests we got going this.
Okay, weekend. Do it. So, we got about 3 minutes to go here. So I'm on the Utah app right now.
Yep.
What contest should we jump into this week?
So we got a great free-to-play contest. I encourage everybody to enter this one. It's the NCAA Sweet 16 Pick 'em All. You're just picking all the games against the spread. You'll get a record at the end of the weekend. That's a fun one. You just got to pick winners against the spread. You pick all the games. The Sweet 16 games are all listed now. When it gets down to the Elite Eight, make sure you go back there to pick the next round of games. So that's a fun one. The other one, we have a paid contest, which again, you're entering with Utabucks. You're entering 2,500 Utabucks. It's an NCAA bankroll contest, games that go throughout the weekend. So we'll go Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. This is such a weird year.
Weird.
I keep wanting to say Thursday through Sunday, but this year it's Saturday through Tuesday. And it's the traditional bankroll contest. You'll get 50,000 bankroll bucks. You spend them how you want. You can do the spread, the money line, the over-under, and whoever has the most bankroll bucks at the end of the weekend will win that one. So 2 good contests. We actually also have an NBA contest going this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday games. So if you can't get your fix on March Madness, you can still play the NBA games. Same deal there with the bankroll. You get 50,000 bankroll bucks and pick all the NBA games throughout the weekend, however you like. And minimum guaranteed prize on that one's also 25,000 Utabucks.
I right now am just making all of my picks these are the Saturday games. Yeah. Saturday, March 27th. Right. I've just made all my picks on the Saturday games. Okay. I'm feeling great about these, right? I didn't know Loyola Chicago was a 7-point favorite over Oregon State.
Oregon State just won the Pac-12 tournament. That's why they snuck in.
Yeah. Well,
listen, they're red hot.
I know. Oral Roberts is getting 11.5 from Arkansas. Taking Oral Roberts. Gonzaga's given 13 to Creighton, and as much as I want to see like a competitive game, I don't think so. Gonzaga,
do you guys know Creighton? This is the first time they ever made the Sweet 16.
No, I didn't know that.
I just felt like they've been in the Final Four before. You always hear Creighton in the tournament. This is the first time they made the Sweet 16.
I took Creighton in that game, and the Big East was sneaky good this year. They had a number of like above average good teams, and Creighton won the Big East. Didn't win the tournament, but won the regular season. I'm hoping they can keep it close. That's more of like a hope pick than an actual like well handicapped pick. I don't know. 13 points seemed like a lot of points for a good team, but we'll see. I don't feel good about it.
I'm all in. I've entered. If you go to UDDA, join the NCAA Sweet 16 Pick 'em All. Michael, we'll talk to you next week. Good luck, man.
Thanks, gentlemen. Enjoy the tournament.
All right, we got to wrap things up. We got to wrap it up. Got to get out of here. Got to go do other stuff today. Everybody have a great night. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And make sure that you are subscribed to our YouTube channel, because Grumpy Old Men tonight. Grumpy Old Men with Kurt Bavacqua and Hank Bauer coming up. It'll air at 6 o'clock, right, Browner? 6 o'clock?
Yes.
By the way, they already seem extremely grumpy. No, seriously.
I saw Hank on here right now.
I just saw Hank and I just heard Bavacqua, and they both sound pissed. Hank wouldn't even make eye contact with me.
He's so pissed at you.
He's so pissed.
What'd you do now?
So pissed.
Oh, God. They just expect me to like work for them nonstop. They're like, why aren't you selling our show? Why haven't we made it to radio yet? I'm like, guys, I'm too busy. I'm one person, So they're pissed.
Have fun, Browner.
Peace.
Yeah, great.